everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex. This is Big Baby Reviews. Today's Eric Larson Day, guys. It's Saturday. Hope you're having a great weekend. So we're looking at the next issue of The Savage Dragon, issue number 26, cover dated March 1996. Just going to point out, by this time when I was a kid, I had, really kind of stepped out of comics altogether. So this is kind of my first viewing of this issue, having read it prior to the review. Starting with the cover, kind of a preview, of course, of what's going to be happening in the comic. We are going to see Mace put on Overlord's costume. The cover makes it look like it's a big pivotal moment to a certain extent, but it's kind of a fake out, as when we get to that in the storyline, you'll see exactly what happens, which is maybe a little bit different than what the cover is indicating. Do you want to mention the colors? I've said it before, but in around issue 20, the colors got a lot better, a lot more saturated and brighter, a little more colorful for the Savage Dragon series, which I think fits really well. The regular series issue number 1 of the Savage Dragons kind of started off with Steve Olive coloring, a little darker, a little more in tune with kind of what was happening on Spawn, and I definitely think this brighter, kind of more colorful palette works way better for the Savage Dragon. So let's have a look inside, guys, see what's going on. Starting with a splash, right? He's sticking to the old Kirby formula, which is cool. Bring us right into the action. So we've got Savage Dragon attacking, the leftovers of the Super Freak community and the super criminals in Chicago. Credits: Eric Larson, creator, writer, penciler, inker. Chris Eliopoulos, letterer. iHawk are doing the colors, so that's kind of a group of people. And that's it. I've always wondered about, for a while there in the Image Comics, they would talk about film output. So I don't know exactly what that is. Is that when they take pictures of the pages for print? Or if anyone has any information on how this works exactly, I'd be interested in just finding out what part of the process that is and what exactly is going on there. So boom, right into it. Not cheaping on the panels or the storytelling. So, Eric Larson is one of those guys who, even though he's an image artist and does the splash pages and double page splashes, still is able to pull off lots of, smaller panels and more storytelling. So we've got kind of a Kirby-ish kind of action sequence here, which is pretty cool. Larson's a master at it. And yeah, that's basically what's going on in this whole issue is the police force trying to get a handle on the, all the minions, the ex-minions of the Overlord, kind of wreaking havoc throughout the city, right? So notice Star here, because that's going to be important a little bit later to the storyline. So yeah, not much going on other than that in this issue. Once again, look at just how amazing Larson is at drawing a bunch of different characters. I like seeing Hellraiser here. Without his costume, it's still his hair, which is like, that's some wild ass hair. But just the layering of the characters and how he does it here, how each character that's running is in a different position, right? That's very important. You don't want to do the old Liefeld where they're all running with this off the same leg and in the same position. Even though this is static drawing, you can create a sense of motion by having all the guys doing the same action, being in different poses. So it's almost like animation where you're breaking down the running cycle, but using multiple different characters to do that. So, this is halfway between a still drawing and animation, basically. The repetition of the characters running in different positions gives us the sense that there's a lot of movement and they're coming towards us. And again, the layering of it too is fantastic. You got some really big characters in the foreground. Obviously Arachnid is huge, so that's why he's more in the middle ground, but quite big. And you got some smaller characters in the back there. Just great layering effect, creates a lot of depth. Even just small things like the background and the details on the wall and the screws and stuff, I think is very good. Larson definitely doesn't cheap out when it comes to backgrounds and creates, environments that are very evocative for his characters. So yeah, here we've got, all these super freaks. It's a prison break issue, right? And as this door closes, they think they're safe, but no, of course, it's Mighty Man, so he can bust those doors open. I thought this was kind of a weird one where, this guy Body Count can just turn his arms into guns, and he does here. And he's about to start shooting and stuff, so was he in prison with this ability and just not using it? That's kind of an odd thing. Point becomes moot because Super Pager just blows him away. Got to assume that he's dead, right? That was the thing with the Image characters. They weren't adverse to killing villains. It was kind of especially in the Savage Dragon, there's a lot of that going on. So we've got Mace here, who was sent to prison, right? But he says, as he says in the dialogue, he doesn't belong here. He fights criminals, he says, and just happens to be kind of led towards the Overlord costume, right? Like the cover was implying. So yeah, basically, again, it's just a big slugfest here between the police department and all of these super freaks. Up until the point, of course, where May shows up with Overlord's costume. And, you know, Dragon knows something here that Mace doesn't. So he kind of goads him into, like, you know, using the suit and trying to attack the dragon. But then gets short-circuited here by... I have to assume it's by Rapture here, because she's got the electronic powers, not electronic, excuse me, electric, or she shoots like lightning and electricity. So what happened here? Cyberforce said that Overlord's armor was designed to work for Sageti only, the original Overlord. Poor bastard didn't stand a chance. Fried vegetables, anyone? So basically, you know, the whole setup from the cover quickly done with, and we move on. Poster insert by Erik Larsen. He's had a lot of different artists doing insert posters here. The younger version of Wildstar is what we have here. I mean, nothing to say about the art. Erik Larsen's always great, but I feel like maybe some of the artists that he had planned or lined up to do these posters maybe weren't meeting their deadline, so he's having to throw in some of his own artwork for the poster. And since there's no ad here saying next issue, as we've been seeing in the last at least 10 issues, I would think, there's no ad or message saying next issue poster by so-and-so. Maybe this is the end of the run of the posters in the middle of Savage Dragon. I guess we'll find out when we look at next issue, see if there's any more coming. We get Bludgeon again, who's like, again, I described last issue, his name basically describes what he is and what his look is supposed to be. It's supposed to kind of bludgeon you, I guess. And Larsen comes back to using this technique of, you know, he is drawing kind of crowds and lots of characters in the background, but very small. Like, deadline-wise, this is a smart way to achieve this idea that all these people are in the scene without having to draw them all. And it's probably more fun to draw lots of little faces than lots and lots of characters, you know, very small, but head to toe. And I just, again, I marvel at the clever way he integrates these little heads all throughout all of these panels. It's not distracting at all. And it really just does convey the sense that all these people are here without having to draw them all. You know, he does every few panels, he hints at it, right? Here. You know, you got a character, well, these two characters in the background, but this is also good at showing us their reactions, right? Because obviously it's their face. So just a clever storytelling tool that I think helps with deadline issues, getting through some pages a little faster, and that I think that visually work really well and look cool. I probably talked about this before, but it's something I think if I ever come up with a sequence where I have a large crowd and I need this kind of thing, I might just copy that. Not so much screen tone as in this issue as past issues, but here and there you'll see a bit. So he threw in some here on Johnny Redbeard's hand, which I always think looks really good with Erik Larsen's artwork. And basically we've got, once again, the character Negate. You know, Johnny Redbeard's confronting Cyberface, who's basically seems like he's becoming the leader of the Vicious Circle. And Johnny Redbeard has challenged him, but now Negate has taken away his powers. And off they go. I thought this was funny here. This character going into the portal. You don't see the head of this creature or the little man on top. Got to assume that's Devil Dinosaur, right? If you know who that is, and look into it. Jack Kirby stuff. Very underrated series with some really awesome artwork, some great double page splashes. So, you know, the concept of Devil Dinosaur could seem a bit cheesy at first, but... and let's be honest, it was originally intended to be a Saturday morning cartoon, so you can kind of understand, you know, the design of the characters and the concept of the series as a cartoon for kids. Yeah, for sure. But again, if you look at the series, you can probably still find most of those issues fairly cheap, and there's just some really great Jack Kirby artwork in there. So She-Dragon here, she's kind of by Johnny Redbeard's side, the depowered Johnny Redbeard, and you know, guess she's going to be taking care of him. I guess we'll find out in the next few issues, because I will say Erik Larsen is good at following the BCD stories in these comics. And a good example of that, once again, when we get, well, here's one example and when we get to the end. So, you know, there's the I don't know if it's C, D, E, F, G story at this point, but you've got the Star storyline where, you know, he was found last issue with that page that was the same page from the Spider-Man run, where he just replaced Spider-Man with Star. And this lady Amanda basically looks like Mary Jane, right? She's pretty much the same. I feel like he's just drawn Mary Jane like he did in Spider-Man, just calling her Amanda here. But what she finds out is, you know, he apparently is Star and saved her life, but then she's shown on TV that there's another Star going around. And what he reveals is, he's like, okay, crap. Okay, I'm not Star, but I was. I got my butt kicked so bad that I hired somebody else to take over. But I was Star. Really, I was. I saved your life. That ought to count for something. Amanda, I'm going to have to think about this. So basically, you know, still trying to take credit for saving your life because I guess he wants to get laid is what the storyline is going towards. So here officially we get Cyberface again becoming the leader of the Super Freaks, kind of replacing Overlord. Once again, that clever storytelling thing of all the faces here. You know, again, he draws a crowd really quick in that way that, you know, you don't draw all the details and stuff, and you can probably get through this very quickly. And just adding these faces just, you know, adds to that sense of a crowd without, again, having to draw all these characters head to toe, and just having to draw faces and the reactions definitely lends itself to what's going on in the storyline, right? And then turn to find out that Cyberface, of course, is still being controlled by, is it Horde? Yeah, the Horde. We saw past issues, Cyberforce, when he escaped police custody or prison custody, I'm not quite sure, that he had one of these little guys stuck to the back of his neck, right? So he is being controlled, but we kind of forgot about it. Even I forgot about it throughout the last few issues and seeing what Cyberface was doing. So to be reminded here is like, oh yeah, no, he did establish this way early on in some earlier issues. So there we go. A little bit of backstory on Cyberface, and probably a preview of where this is leading eventually to an ultimate confrontation between eventually Savage Dragon and the true leader in this case of you know, the Super Freaks, not Cyberface but Horde. And of course we've got the really long letter page sequence in Savage Dragon, which was really popular back in the day before the internet. And there you go, guys. That is it for issue 26 of the Savage Dragon. That is my review of this comic. If you're still watching and you're subscribed, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your support. If you're watching but you're not subscribed, please do so below. It only takes a second for you. Really helps the channel out and really helps us grow, helps get us out there to other people who are into comics just like we are. So everyone out there, thank you for watching and have an awesome day. King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.
Like! Subscribe!